You opened your closet this morning, scanned an entire rainbow of options you swear you own, and reached for black again. We usually tell ourselves it's a practical choice, that it simply goes with everything. But that explanation ignores the quiet part of the brain that trusts this color in a way it doesn't trust the others. Your wardrobe is a tool you've been using your whole life. You live inside a feed. Every day involves scrolling past 1,000 colors screaming for attention and 1,000 shifting aesthetics demanding a performance. In the middle of that noise, choosing black is a refusal to compete. It's a strategy to opt out of the visual overload while remaining completely intentional. Black functions as a privacy setting. When you put it on, you gain the ability to take up space without being looked at too closely. It creates a boundary, signaling that while you are present, your inner state remains your own. This is the difference between hiding and shielding. Shielding is an active choice to reserve your real attention and your real emotional energy for the people who have actually earned it. Psychologists link a consistently black wardrobe to a specific cluster of motives: a search for emotional protection, a desire for defined personal limits, and a preference for keeping one's inner weather private. Wanting a boundary is a sign of a healthy grounding strategy. Even the most open people value their private space. Choosing black is a way to maintain that center in a world that often demands overexposure. Beyond internal protection, the color performs a second job that points outward. It broadcasts a signal of competence and power. People consistently rate those in black as more serious and more in control of their time. In 1988, researchers at Cornell University analyzed years of penalty records in professional football and hockey to see if these perceptions matched reality. They found a consistent anomaly. Teams wearing black uniforms were piling up penalties at the top of their leagues. The Raiders, the Steelers, and the Bruins were all ranking near the top in aggressive play. To rule out coincidence, they looked at the Pittsburgh Penguins, who switched their uniform from light blue to black mid-season while keeping the same roster. The shift was immediate. Their penalty minutes jumped from an average of 8 minutes a game to 12. The researchers identified two causes. Referees were biased, judging black uniforms as more malevolent, but more importantly, the players themselves actually became significantly more aggressive when they put on the darker fabric. The uniform altered the players' internal psychology, dictating how they chose to behave on the ice. The color didn't just change the story, it changed the person. This challenges the assumption that clothes are merely an output of how we feel. The psychological arrow actually runs backward, moving from the fabric into the brain and editing our behavior. In laboratory experiments, participants showed sharper focus and made fewer mistakes when they wore a white lab coat they believed belonged to a doctor. When participants wore the exact same coat but were told it was a painter's coat, the cognitive benefits vanished. Researchers call this enclothed cognition. It requires two ingredients working together: the symbolic meaning you associate with the clothing and the physical act of wearing it. When you slip into black to survive a difficult day, you are borrowing a sense of steadiness from your clothes. You are dosing your brain with a feeling until you eventually own it. This doesn't mean black has a fixed power that works the same on everyone. Color psychology is rarely that universal. Under color and context theory, the psychological impact of a shade depends entirely on the situation and your personal associations. Red can signal romance and approachability in one setting, yet trigger a fight-or-flight response and tank your performance during a test in another. The context always determines the effect. Black is the same. It reads as a threat on a referee's field, but it reads as grief and solemnity at a funeral. The influence of your outfit comes from the personal meaning you have trained your brain to associate with that fabric. You are the one who wrote the definition for the clothes you wear. A preference for black is an efficient cognitive shortcut. Over time, your brain paired this color with feelings of control and protection, eventually making it your most reliable psychological default. The next time you reach for it on autopilot, pause and identify the specific feeling you are trying to reach for. Are you looking for focus, or are you looking for armor? Using this tool without intention can be a risk. This same armor used to feel untouchable can become a wall that keeps people out on the days you actually need to be seen. Self-awareness is about understanding the psychological tools in your closet. When you know what your choices are doing, you can reach for black and mean it.